May I know if the PPT is visible? I think slideshow will be a little difficult, I guess.
Ma'am, the PPT
Let
is
us, yeah. So let me just check if PPT is visible to you.
PPT is visible, ma'am. Can you slideshow, ma'am?
Slideshow. Let me just check. Uh, Jema, is it possible for you to share it from your end? So that will be helpful. Because I need to show some other websites and other stuff. That will be a little difficult in the slideshow mode for me.
Okay, ma'am. Then you have to share with us, ma'am, so that
I have shared. I have emailed you the PPT.
yes, ma'am. Just a minute, ma'am.
Yeah. It's okay, Jaya ma'am, if it's taking long. I think this is visible. So, good evening, all of you, all the wonderful people who are from academics with very great foundation and the aspiration to make a difference in the field of academia, and those aspiring leaders and the change managers. I'd like to begin with a story. There was a professor who used to teach first year undergraduate students one of the very difficult classes in the university, who were known for their restlessness. They were always distracted, they were always inconsistent, and they were the headache for all teachers in the university. Now, this was a new joinee. This was simple teacher, not even the HOD or the coordinator. Neither she was a class teacher nor any member of any community. Yet she did few things in the class, and that started making that difficult to manage class into the most happening and most productive class. What are various things she did? She did not open her rule book on the day one when she went there. But what she did, she entered the class with all the poise she had, and in a very composed manner, she wrote three rules on the board. Enter with curiosity, work speaks louder than marks, and respect is the language that we all understand. Now, when she was writing all these things, students curiously noted this out. And what happened next? When students, any of the student who used to come late in the class, she never asked the reason for the student coming late in the class. What she asked, what curiosity what brought you here today? And student used to feel little awkward, and they used to giggle in the cheeks and goes and sit silently. And if some student finishes the exercises hurriedly without paying much attention to the details or copy others' work and submit it carelessly, then what she started doing? She started checking the copies and putting a remark with the red pen in bold. Is this your best work speaking? Are you not in capacity to do better than this? You are. And this started making students feel contemplated. They started thinking seriously about their own capacity and their work. When some students suddenly start speaking in the middle of the classes, she used to say a single sentence. Let's stay in the let's stay in the language of respect. And this started making changes in her classes, and her classes started becoming productive. Now, you might have observed that there are some students or there are some teachers uh, who are always popular among the student, and students never make any kind of hustle and bustle when it comes to this kind of teacher particularly. They listen everything, and they follow all the instructions, and they also make sure that they listen to everything that the teacher is saying. And what happens next? And it becomes very difficult to the other teacher to get things done from the same children. Why does it happen? Because there is a difference in the management. The example that I had given you just before about a teacher who used to manage the classes with the simple three questions in her class is the type of silent leadership which is considered to be remarkable, at the same time very, very effective in this kind of classroom scenarios. Now, I have put one link in the chat box about a poll. Can all of you start filling the poll quickly so we can see the results? And this poll is going to help us out to contemplate on what are current scenarios, and then it will be easy for you also to connect the dots of this session. So, over the next 30 minutes, I'm going to take you through understanding what is leadership, what is change management, what are various types of leadership, what are various features in the change management, and what is the leadership and change management in academia, and where do you stand as a teacher there? What is your role? So, all these things we will be contemplating through our journey of this next 30-40 minutes. I request all of you to start filling the poll so I can show you the results here on the screen. I have posed a very basic question. What is the biggest challenge you face when leading change in your classroom or in your institution? And you have to vote in the given options. First option is resistance from students and staff members that makes it difficult to bring any change. Is it the fear of failure or uncertainty? Is it time or workload pressure that you have as a teacher? Or do you have lack of clarity about what needs to change? So please choose your answers accordingly. I give you half a minute for that. All of you, please click the link in the chat box and give your opinion in the form of the poll.
Can I share the PPT, ma'am?
Yes, yes, no
Okay.
problem. I'll stop sharing.
Yes, ma'am.
All of you, please, start filling the poll so we can get some results. All academicians here. I'm still awaiting for the results here. Okay. Yeah. So I got some answers of the poll, and the most of the answers chosen by you says that it is time and workload pressure. Now, when we are talking about time and workload pressure, again, we are leading towards time management skill here. Jaya ma'am, give me a second. What I'll do is I'm going to present my own slide. So it will be the entire screen. So it will be easy for me to glance through various other technologies, those I will be introducing. I'm sorry for that.
Okay, ma'am, no issues.
Yeah. So let me know if it is visible. So I'll show the result of the poll that's visible on my screen, that most of you have chosen that time and workload pressure is the reason to bring any kind of change or implement any kind of change in the classroom. Now, let us first contemplate on various understanding about what is this change management first of all, and what are your leadership role. Now, in the modern times, these are three major leaderships that we see in any of our organization: intellectual leadership, relational leadership, and visionary leadership. Intellectual leader always lead better, choose to lead by example. For example, the silent leadership, as we have seen the example of the teacher. So they set example intellectually. They always involve research, thereafter foresightedness, and studying the examples of others, good models while taking decision. The next type of leadership that is written here is relational leadership. These kind of leaders are very much involved into connecting people. They do have excellent communication skills, negotiation skills, and they are really good into building connections with people of all stratas. And that's why their leaderships are very successful. First, because they are approachable, and second, they always make sure to be with everyone or to connect with each and everyone. So every individual feels very respected. Third type of leadership is known as visionary leadership. The visionary leader always thinks beyond the present, thinks of the future. So, whatever kind of decision making this kind of leader does, always involve the future repercussions of those decisions. So, these are certain leaderships for only basic understanding. And now let's understand, where do you stand as a teacher in the whole leadership scale and in this change management. Understand, some of you must be just simple subject teacher. Neither you are head nor um, eh, neither you are on any head position of any organization nor even being the class teacher. Still, I consider you being the leader. Now, what is leader? First of all, understand. Leader is not always someone who is heading, or who is in the heading position, or always driving with the force a group of people. Leader is the decision maker. Leader is the change maker. Leader, first of all, implement the changes with oneself and thoughtfully takes the decision, because leader knows the decisions are going to create a larger impact on others. Now, you being a teacher always are the leader in the class in which you are standing, because you are always standing in front of number of students, certain number of students to whom you are leading either by example or giving a set model or your thoughtful decision. Whatever kind of actions you are going to make or do are going to create larger impact on the overall learning and growth of children. So, do you think change management is important or not? First of all, let us understand what is change management. Change management is the management of any kind of change that is brought in the system or in the existing structure. As a teacher, you may bring change in the assessment patterns in your classes. As a teacher, you may bring change in your teaching style or methodologies in your class. And then students need to adopt those out. While doing this out, what you are doing here, you are managing this change. Now, this change, while bringing the change, multiple things are there which we need to consider. Now, change is something that we are not much very positive about or not much for. Even being a leader, sudden changes are never welcomed. But in academics, can we avoid changes? Not only in academics, in every field, change is the inevitable law of the life. Change is to going to happen. Think of your life just 10 years back, and what are multiple changes you have witnessed as a child or a teenager when you were in school or you were in colleges, and what are various changes and approaches, behavior patterns, attitudes, and the action and reactions you are noticing now in the current generation that is sitting on the benches in front of you in your classes. A wide kind of change that you might be observing in last 10 to 20 years of your life and today. And there are multiple reasons behind that. So, in an academic world that is transforming very faster than our syllabus, what does leadership look like when the ground keeps shifting beneath us? Imagine our organization as the old library. with full of knowledge hub, right? Lot of books, amazing stuff to read and grow us intellectually. Now, what happens suddenly? There has happened sudden earthquake and the whole library is shaking. The books are falling down or the library is now on fire and we have not ourselves made ready for this change because this change was sudden. At the same time, we never had any visionary leader, let's say, who did not think of the foresightedness. And what is happening? We are losing very valuable resources. Those are old archaic libraries holding. Now, don't you think that whatever change is happening, let's say due to the technology, now this earthquake that we are observing right now is happening due to sudden and wide changes happening in the academia. That may be due to the bombarding of NEP changes, aligning our courses with NEP. Just see, the structure of our education system is changed. The 3 years degree are becoming 4 years now. Our baskets of categories of open electives, thereafter core courses, ability enhancement courses, everything is changed suddenly. Things were very simple back then, before 20 years, 10 years, and there are wide changes since 2020, NEP 2020. Because NEP 2020 is taken in the curriculum on international parameters. It is judging us on that level. It is aligning us and taking to the equal level of international parameters. And that's why some of us are finding it very difficult to cope up with. But can we avoid this change? We can't. Change is inevitable. There is come AI, especially ChatGPT, which has made lives easy at the same time difficult. As a teacher, you are teaching amazing things in class, asking students to do assignment, but our children are very careless. They are not listening to us or paying attention to us, not making sure the way we used to do when we were children or students in classes to read books, refer articles, make notes from the classes, and then do the assignment. This is not happening because on single click with simple prompt, students are creating wonderful assignment within no time, without any effort or zero energy. Practically speaking, no concrete work is happening. But can we stop children making use of AI or using ChatGPT? We cannot. Now, as there are educational technologies or AI tools or NEP recommendations or any other things which are causing the shaking of the ground, why not train us or make ourselves ready to survive or stand stronger even in the time of shaking or time of earthquake? Now, let us see what are various things this need. There are various aspects to this change management. Bringing any change is actually a structured process. It needs proper planning, then execution, and ensuring the permanence of the changes to improve effectiveness, methodology or technology. Any change happens. Why does any change happen? First of all, understand this. Any change happens because previous things are not giving results. And that's why it's very essential to make changes in the existing system. Some of you may become leaders or already leaders, so it's a great responsibility of all of us. I consider every teacher to be a leader and is capable to handle any leadership position. Or you yourself have to keep yourself ready because the kind of task or burden is so much, is very overwhelming that each one of us are doing or taking hold or responsibility of either of the categories, subcategories. Some of you are timetable management managers in your classes, or classroom teachers, or assessment or examination coordinator. Every one of you are heading either of these parts. So understand, you all are leaders. Now, Some of you may be already in the leadership position and you see that change, you need to bring the change. Now, if you are a change maker, then you should understand how to manage this change. People are not ready for any kind of sudden change. And even if you do that, that is going to create a huge chaos and going to kill lot of productivity. At the same time, this time is so valuable, this productive time is so valuable, we cannot afford losing it out. That's why we have to understand that change needs to be planned, systematic, and incremental. You have to bring systematic change. Otherwise, it will not give any kind of results those you are expecting. Now, change management, while doing any kind of new change, you also need to focus on people. What kind of people you have? For example, if you decide sudden AI integration in all teaching learning practices, and if your employee or the staff members are above 50s, then it will be a tough time for them. Even if you decide to train them, their brains would not process in the same way the brains are processing of those who are in their 20s. Because this generation is born in the era of AI with the technology. They are techno savvy, so they are very comfortable. But when it comes to your elder generation, they are actually the greatest generations who have seen wide changes in their life, from walking while having a transport to the flying jets, this flying machines, steel birds they have seen, and they have made themselves adaptable from time to time. Now understand why change management actually can be successful. Because as I said, that change is inevitable. Change is the law of life. Likewise, adaptability is the human capacity or human characteristics. Every human being is adaptable, and that's why we have survived before the dinosaur era and even after that. There are many species of birds, animals which have gone on extinction except human interference because they were not adaptable. Now, human being is very adaptable at the same time, curious, creative, has a wide learning ability, and that's why it's possible for human beings to be the part of the change, adapt to the changes, and merge or gel the life smoothly according to that. For that, what you have to do is you have to prepare your people first mentally for any kind of change that you are willing to bring. Announce it properly, make arrangement of all kind of trainings, workshops, and the support that each and every individual may need. Some people are going to quickly learn that out, or some are going to take time. For example, various LMS systems, those we deal with, that we have to put our marks, take assignment, various kind of data on the LMS system. And LMS systems also keep on changing. Because your university has their own LMS system or may develop LMS system, they share off the previous ones. And then again, you have to learn from the scratch. So you are again back to the square one when you had to learn any new system or any new change. For example, if you have never seen the smart board in your life before COVID pandemic, then it was a sudden shock for most of you who used to teach only on the board, blackboard with the chalk, to gel up with the online platforms like Zoom or Google Meet or creating Google Classroom or even teaching on the smartphones. It was very tough because that particular period did not give you enough breathing time for bringing the change. The management at that time was weak. But how about the second phase of COVID-19 pandemic? It was comparatively better because people got enough time to adapt with the new change, gel up with the technology, train themselves better. So, in the second phase, though we were working online, teaching online through various modes, the teaching became more effective in the second phase. So, you have to make sure you prepare your people, equip them well, and give a proper support. Thereafter, change is always widely applied, not on individual person, to all departments and the whole organization. For example, rolling out of any new technology or any new UGC norm, let's say, or NEP change, or restructuring any syllabus and implementing uniformly, centrally, all across the university is very important. Thereafter, change should always be goal oriented, and that's only will be managed. For example, to achieve the desired outcome, guide the organization through transformation. Be there available for each and every transformation happening in all the steps of people. Help people adapt to new ways of working successfully. Give them breathing period. First of all, mentally make them positive, ready to accept the new change. If they are already burdened with the work, make sure that how their work will be smoothened with this new change, not will add on into a burden. What is happening nowadays in academia, any kind of new change brings goosebumps on your body, right? Because it's a red alarm for you. Already you are piled up with the work this much, and this is going to add on, and you are going to submerge underwater. And that's going to be suffocating for an individual. That's why teachers are not able to perform, because they are overburdening with the lot of documentation and unnecessary things. They are overburdened to learn new skills, adapt to new technology, bring changes in their teaching learning patterns, and do different kind of assessments those they have never seen, never heard of. Now, why it is becoming a burden? Because all these changes are not goal oriented. They are not systematically planned. Any change should have the holistic approach, which is going to help people to execute the task better for the better results, not to overburden people and perform low. Right? So change should always be holistic with the help of lot of tools. Now, this is how a process of change management should be. This is the responsibility of any leader. Prepare people for the change, create a vision for the change, tell them objective upfront. Even if you are bringing any change in the classroom, first of all, the moment you enter in the class, make your objectives clear. If you have any rules or regulations, set them forth in front of the students clearly. At the same time, ask the expectations of students. So it will help you out to craft or draft your own lessons accordingly. And then once students know that these are things which are expected by them, they abide by the rule and do not keep changing any of the new changes implemented. Be consistent. If you keep on changing things, there will be a lot of confusion and people will be overburdened, though it's student or a teacher or any head or the leader. Change will not be effectively implemented then. If change is consistent, if there is uniformity in your talk and what you implement, only then change will be successful. Because change is the process, it takes time. So maintaining consistency is very important. Once you set rules in the class, let it route throughout the semester. Do not keep on changing the rules every next minute on every next class. That is going to create confusion, make students lose interest, and then create chaos in the class. And that will be very difficult for you for the classroom management. In the same way, managing any organization or holding any leadership position, it is very important to understand how to bring this change and manage it properly. Prepare people, create a vision, set the objectives clear, implement the change systematically, step by step, uniformly in all departments. Then embed the change and solidify the changes. Make sure from the scratch, from the bottom till the top, changes happen. Keep on taking reviews and analyze it objectively, because not necessary as previous things are not working, so you bring few new things and implement it out, or UGC recommends or NEP recommends or AI is suggesting, you do all these changes and then results are not coming, there is no output. then it's not useful to stretch that change afterwards. Far-fetched changes are not going to be helpful. You have to, that's why, keep on taking reviews at systematic intervals and analyze those on various strict parameters and check out how much successful these changes were. Make various phases, set 1, set 2, or phase 3, and analyze these results throughout the year in various phases. What are the initial results, what are the mid results, and what are the concluding results? And on the basis of the 1 year observation analysis, you take the decision if the same changes should be continued in the next year or not. These are four major changes that some of you might have observed or any leader should know. Anticipatory changes. Anticipatory changes means certain kind of changes every leader understands or anticipates in advance. For example, SDG is now becoming stronger, and what UGC also have recommended that align your syllabi or your assessment with the SDGs, UN goals, right? So next time, whenever you are making or the moment you begin your new academic year, as a leader, you announce to all teachers to align their syllabi with the SDGs or UN goals. And this is what is called as anticipatory change. At the same time, NEP recommends what kind of language formulas we must have, or what kind of structure or basket categories we must have. According to that, you can implement or you suggest certain kind of open electives or minor tracks for teachers. Those student may opt for. These are known as anticipatory changes or anticipatory leadership. For example, environmental concern or any new trend that is coming. For example, people used to be, there was a time when computer science or IT was in boom. Now, is IT in boom? Now AI is in boom. This is the AI era, which is again now submerging the IT people who did not adopt with the time and did not train themselves to be able to handle AI, right? And this is gonna be common to all streams itself. So now, what are various anticipatory changes we are also being bringing individually in our own life to make our profile stronger and to survive better in next 10, 20 years? We are all are training ourselves into various AI tools, aren't we? We are doing certain workshops, or we are writing papers in the conference, or we are taking trainings, or we are implementing AI tools or EdTech tools in our own teaching learning. What are we doing? We are making anticipatory changes. We are anticipating next future actions, and we are giving reaction according to that. Second change is reactive. There are certain moments happen, and it's very important, crucial for you to take immediate decisions. You cannot keep on hold and let the time pass and then take decision. It should not be the situation like Hamlet, to be or not to be, to be or not to be. And that's going to kill Hamlet and the whole beloved people around. For example, the COVID-19 pandemic situation that we experienced. It was a sudden situation that happened within a very short period of time. Just within 15 days to a month, the whole world was in quarantine. Never heard of, never thought of. Nobody ever thought of this. There came swine flu. There came other kind of other pandemic-like diseases, which were then controlled immediately through some vaccination and other kind of precautions like quarantining people. But COVID-19 was very different. It was fast spreading, contagious. At the same time, there was no vaccine available or no solution available. So it took time. So whatever kind of changes happened in the academia were the reactive changes. But now, though, and that's why what happened as the change was sudden, breathing time was not given. The first phase was full of chaos. But there were some institutions which made some systematic changes, like engaging students through some activities, giving them different tasks for certain days, arranging immediate training programs for teachers for making themselves ready for the AI tools or online lecturing, at the same time preparing a very strong support system to all teachers to keep on helping them out if they find any technical glitches, if some of them are not able to handle AI. Because if you remember initially, when we used to take classes in Zoom or having webinars, people used to unmute and suddenly start speaking, shouting, or singing, and it was getting very difficult to mute them because around those 200, 300 people, it was getting difficult who has unmute and who is doing that out. But what happened later on? We came out with the kind of options like muting all or only preserving host right and not giving participants the right to unmute immediately, right? Allowing them only at the interval and then muting them and all. So these were kind of reactive changes. But what is the management done here is there are also systematic changes brought, and only because of that, academics was the field which could sustain. There were many fields, traditional, non traditional, which could not adapt to this sudden change of COVID 19, and those fields could not survive. Those vanished in the time frame. Now, what is another reactive change that we can see now? That all of us are now able to handle online sessions. Today's session is the example of that. All of you uh, are joining us today through the Google Meet, and we are connected. How now it has become a new normal for us. And because of this reactive change, it was managed properly. We are successfully handling these things out. Then comes is the incremental change management, which is recommended in all kind of scenarios. Because in this particular condition, change starts happening at the micro level. Then it goes to the next level. Then it goes to the larger level. And then to the whole organization. So this is very systematic, incremental, and very adaptable, supportive. People do not feel overburdened or overwhelmed because of this. Then comes this strategic change, which is always filtered down on certain parameter, and it goes from down to the higher level. So change is done on the experimental level only on a small scale group, and especially on, let's say, only heads or the leaders, and then that is passed on and made it obligatory to others also to abide by. So what are various solutions to be the leader and be effective in change management? These are the solutions to evolve. First of all, be ready for the digital transformation. If you keep on thinking that I am feeling overburdened, I do not have time, I have a lot of workload, I understand that. That's a reality. I am being a teacher, I also suffer a lot through all these things. But none of the systems are capable to reduce the burden, or it's not possible due to the highly demanding changes happening in the academia. So what we have to do is we have to make ourselves ready for this digital transformation. It means you have to start training yourself to various digital transformation happening around you. Prepare yourself for ChatGPT. Train yourself to give prompts. ChatGPT or any AI tool, understand, is not going to kill anybody's job. It is rather going to make our jobs easy, complementary. Use ChatGPT as your trainer or as your servant, not as a threat. Utilize it to do all kind of those works where you do not need to invest much energy, or at least for getting the rough drafts. So then you can have a look at it and then create a fair draft. We'll talk about that in further slides. Prepare yourself for outcome based education, because education field has been evolved revolutionary. There were times when education was just one way process, where teacher used to be the dictator and student used to be just listeners, and that is called as a deductive system of teaching. Now students are at the center, and we are thinking about designing our curriculum from the students benefit perspective. So whatever education system we have, whatever curriculums we are designing are outcome based. for the benefit of the students. Now, teachers are the facilitators and students are the beneficiary. And this is called as inductive system of teaching. Thereafter, always train yourself for the interdisciplinary learning. Every branch of knowledge is interconnected with each other. Though it's science, art, literature, mathematics, or any other field, or even technology, everything is interconnected. If you all need to survive, we survive better together. Always remember this policy. AI enabled teaching is the need of the time. So start familiarizing yourself with various AI tools, which are going to make your teaching learning easy and very effective. For example, train yourself to create interesting PPTs. There are multiple platforms, let's say, such as Canva or Prezi, or let's say Google Slide Share or something, which are going to make your PPTs easy. There is also ChatGPT. Within fraction of second, you just have to give a prompt and basics of those, and it's gonna make PPTs ready for you. Now, when you use PPT in your teaching, learning becomes more effective because it's more interactive. Audio visual engagement is there. So, train yourself for using various AI enabled teaching. AI is not only useful for teaching, it's also useful for your managing. And that is going to make your workload less and going to manage your time also well. So you can find out some really good time for yourself, for your own study, for your own involvement, for better teaching planning. It is a tragedy these days that teachers are not able to prepare their own lessons properly. They're not getting enough time. At the same time, the day gets finished, but the task does not get finished. You have to either carry the task home or carry on the same next day, same task next day. This is not done. This is a sheer failure of the time management or the system failure. Every task that is given should be finished within the time frame that is you're working in which you're working there at the institution. It should not go beyond that. It should not even be surpassed or passed on to the next day. Then what are we doing here? There are days where we sit back, and then there are days where we are overwhelmed, overburdened with the task. Now, how you can utilize technology to make your things easy? For example, in LMS system or in ERP system, you simply have to, in an Excel system throughout the semester, put the names of students and start putting the marks. Upload that Excel sheet into your ERP, and ERP catches it out and it fills the whole data. What you simply have to do is you just cross check if the marks are properly fed or not. Now, this is going to save on your large time, especially when you are dealing with multiple classes with huge classroom size, because putting on every individual's mark becomes very difficult. At the same time, you can also create systems like punch in punch out for students who can log in through the app and the attendance is recorded, so you do not have to keep putting attendance separately and killing your crucial time of teaching. Now, these applications are very helpful to give authentic attendance of children, where they have to show their faces or they have to visually put the attendance. At the same time, if you master Excel, that's going to make your life easy. At the same time, you can use Excel or ChatGPT to create your timetable. You can also ask ChatGPT that this is the task load that I have, these many hours I have. I'm feeling overwhelmed with the workload. Find out some time and manage it out and create a timetable for me for this task. It gives you systematic steps. Day one, these many tasks, these many hours or these many minutes, and these are the resources ready made. This is going to save on your time in researching out. Thereafter, accountability and accreditation. You have to work for that. Invest your time in enough research. Group your better research skills. As a teacher, you start publishing, start being part of the scholarly discussions, attend webinars, conferences, be the part of it, write, publish your work, and bring those research aptitudes in your own teaching learning. Use these AI tools for that. Use ChatGPT, doesn't matter. to write up for you basic for something on some research topic, and then you ask it to give you multiple links for articles on which you can land on and read only those articles. Now what is happening here, that it is saving on your time and it is filtering out ready articles for you. These 10 articles you read and you will be able to write, rather than googling it out and then surfing through all those 100 articles and then filtering out. This saves on your time. Only thing, you have to always be responsible for the credibility. So whatever you take from AI or any other tool, always cross check it out. That much time we can definitely invest. Be globally competitive. What does it mean? Always keep on building your resume stronger day by day. Match, try to match to the international standards. So you always remain unbeatable. For that, always take small courses, do some certifications, take some trainings, publish some research, which is going to keep you latest or evolved or trendy. So you will not lag behind in the competition. Student employability pressure. That is something is always there on you. Start curating your syllabi in this way that student become industry ready. Once you groom them from industry perspective, they will be able to face interviews and employability chances are higher then. Now, this is a leadership change paradox scenarios. I have brought some case study. There is a new LMS introduction, and teachers are silently resisting using it out because we are very much busy in preparing for a classes, doing their assessment, doing all kind of other documents, preparing for NAC or UGC or ISO or something. And yes, there is something new where you have to upload the data again. I've taken all the attendance in on my sheets. Almost I'm about to finish my semester, and suddenly new LMS is there in the picture. And now they are asking me to upload the whole data again online in the LMS system. And then what happens? I tried either procrastinating it out, I or unwillingly I start doing it out slowly. Now your resistance is not the key for it. That's not gonna help you out much, because this day or the other you have to do it. Now understand the larger benefits of it. Once you upload your syllabus or the data or the marks of students, any 3 years after, if some student comes or backlog comes, then it will be easy for you to immediately land on that particular student's details through LMS, which will be really difficult for you to glance through or surf through the piles of your documents. So this digitalization is going to make your life easy, though not now, but in future. So bear for a time, and the fruits of barrens are always sweeter. Another situation is institution shift to blended learning suddenly, and faculty clings to old lecture methods. There are multiple reasons. This is another unnecessary overburden on teachers. And second important thing is they are not well trained. You announce blended learning, you introduce various topics under that, but do you put efforts in making sure that you bring such experts who are going to teach them blending, what is blended learning, how to implement in their classes, and that makes their life rather easy than lecturing. Because in lecture method for 60 minutes you have to keep screeching to your voice. But if you have a blended learning, activity infused or technology integrated, you just have to speak for 10-15 minutes, and all other tasks the students are going to do for 45 minutes. That's gonna make your life easy. You will survive better, and very effective learning will happen among children because their higher order thinking skills will be channelized through this. So what is the responsibility? How this change management will should be done, especially through the leaders? Arrange for the trainings, do some workshops, give some video analysis, create some model lectures and spread it across to the teachers. Have meetings, discuss their problems, understand them better, and Brainstorm it together with the experts and give some concrete solutions. Third scenario is research expectations are increasing insanely. Every one of us have to do publication in Scopus journals, which is very tough, very expensive. If you want to publish a good quality research paper in good Scopus journal, it has almost year and a half waiting. You write it today, submit it out, and you get a result after 1.5 years. So the waiting period is very long. And some Scopus journals are demanding very high fees, like in lakhs of rupees, which is not affordable. And that's why faculties are feeling overwhelmed. And this is quietly disengaging them. They are losing interest even in their core subjects because this overburden is giving a negative dopamine. There is no positive motivation teachers do have. Even if so there are multiple things institution can bring as a change and manage this change. First, balance the burden of teacher so they get enough time of research. You can also give some kind of motivational factors like announcing some rewards, some bringing some reward policy in the form of leaves or some special benefits or some monetary benefit to the faculties who are going to publish or something like that, and that will be a motivational factor. At the same time, we have to be at mercy while giving the targets to teachers also. Let us not overburden them, let them sell through. But what happens, there are some people who are very abstain, who are very procrastinated, and they do not do anything throughout the semester. Even if they are less burdened, if their workload is reduced, even if some reward is announced, they do not do anything. They say that I don't want your reward and I don't want to do anything. And that's why institutions have to make some things mandatory, obligatory, and then it creates burden on those who are already working. So understand that, be responsible as a teacher also, which would always have a balance. At the same time, understand importance of research, how essential it is for us as teachers to stay active, stay live in the field in which we are spending our huge aura of life. For example, I am into the linguistics or English language teaching, then I should always keep myself updated. Otherwise, what would happen? I'm doing the man task, same thing, teaching again and again. What is commission? What are barriers? And doing same thing in the classroom in the typical way. That is not going to bring either any happiness to me nor any quality output in my children. But if I learn some new strategies which are taught by some international faculties or some experts in the field, for example, I'm taking some really good courses with some renowned international organizations, and that is even after around 18 years of my experience, bringing change in me as a teacher. This research ability is enhanced in my own teaching capacities. So these are some motivational factor which are going to be the good change break managers. So change doesn't fail because of strategy, it fails because people are not emotionally ready. Make them mentally ready and make them physically capable to do it. So that is a major thing. Now as a leader, what of a change maker, what are your roles and responsibility? Though being a teacher or of some class, subject teacher, or a leader, or the head of some organization, or being in the head position, it is while very crucial to communicate and license this management and stakeholder to drive to the work forward. So motivational factor and clear communication is important. Always consulting with staff and relevant parties to manage resistance. You have to identify the people who are resisting it out, understand their issues, be empathetic, do not just force and bombard them. Otherwise, quality output will never come. And try to resolve those issues with some solutions, multiple solutions. Give them enough concrete, holistic support system. So these changes can be brought. Each and every strata, even the minor detail or minor level of element in your organization, is very important to bring the wholesome change in the organization. So do not neglect anyone. Creating and overseeing a strategy and timeline for change. It should be very goal oriented and within the time frame. Only then the change will be achievable. Creating training materials to embed changes into the organizational culture. Creating training materials such as organizing workshops, creating videos, for example, how to use LMS, how to enter marks, how to adopt with the new system. If at the same time bringing tech savvy people in. For example, if I am being writing attendance of students on a piece of paper, if I take a snapshot of it and upload it on LMS or my ERP, it should make it so forward or advanced that it will take the data, import the data from my snapshot and make my life easy and things easy. So in this way, you try to bring advanced level changes also in it. So it will be the win-win opportunity for all of us. Helping managers implement change and navigate resistance. Under the leadership, always make sure that you show multiple leaders. You divide the responsibility to people rather than overburdening all people. And always thinking like I will be micromanaging everything is going to make you exhaust. That is not a sign of any good leadership. Leader is the one who is taking the rein in the hand, pulling it first, and then motivating others to push it further. At the same time, bringing the change first in oneself. So, leading by example. At the same time, trusting people and allowing them to take the breathing time. So, just setting the rules clear and giving a time frame to people and asking them, now within this time frame, you please do it. And people will responsibly do it. So, you have to always invest that trust. At the same time, divide the responsibilities and make head for every different division. So all those heads will be then orchestrating that task and those will be reporting you. So if you find problem with any particular division, you will go there and then invest in your energy with the expert to resolve that thing out, and things will get faster. Managing budget is very important while bringing any change. That's why you have to always keep doing analysis after every interval. If this is paying off, or is it just like a white, well, like an white elephant that is just eating money and just burning the cash and not giving result. So that is very important. Manage the change process to ensure the process meets its objective. So you should have always a committee who will keep scrutinizing if change is happening, if it is bringing the kind of positive outcome that we are expecting. Monitoring changes and coordinating any activities to support the process. Whenever you see somebody needs additional support, always lending a support. Either you going there or sending someone who is really good in it. Producing progress reports to direct any further changes initiatives. So in all kind of changes, not only you being only on the headship position, you being the teacher is in the leadership role. So you making your students monitor and then training them to monitor the task and helping the peers in the class to adopt the change and bring the changes in them. So this is how you as a teacher can also be the leader and the change maker. These are some leadership mindsets recommended. Be the gardener mindset, where you always believe in cultivating, not controlling. So helping people to grow together. Then mirror mindset. First of all, be aware of yourself. Are you a change maker? Are you implementing change in yourself first? Are you managing it well? And then lead it by example. You always be the bridge builder mindset. So you connect with the people with multiple stratas, higher authority and lower authority. You be the middle leadership. So change will happen throughout. Be the lighthouse mindset. Whoever needs guidance, be ready to help them out. Not like the captain, but be the steady guide. Be the futurist mindset. Always have new age readiness. You yourself keep yourself updated with the latest things happening and what kind of latest trends those will be coming. and you training yourself, so being ready for any kind of change that happens in the future, and being capable to help others also who will be in the need. Now, for the change management, these are four things which are very important to be taken into consideration. First is awareness, alignment, adoption, and anchoring. Change is not an event, it is a habit. Form slowly and anchor deeply. Now, this is a closing reflection before we move on in understanding various AI tools those we may have for this change management. Institutions doesn't don't transform from the top. They transform from the corridors, classrooms, coffee room conversations, the quiet courage of teachers who lead by example. Do you understand the meaning of it? Every change is brought not only by the top authority, but by each and every element, the micro of the microest of the micro element of that organization. Joining all hands together, moving forward with every small step, systematically organized planning, and only then the change that is supposed to be brought forward will happen. So every and each individual, every element is very crucial in it. Now, these are certain AI tools for leadership in academia and change management. You can utilize it out. Unfortunately, due to the time frame, I'm not able to show you all this, but I'll introduce you out how to use this out. ChatGPT, now widely known to all of you, can be really useful tool for change leadership communication and decision support. For example, you can use certain kind of um, prompt in ChatGPT, draft a professional motivating email announcing the introduction of a new learning management system. Tone needs to be supportive, clear, and leadership focused. Once the draft is ready of the email, you scrutinize it. At the same time, along with this, what are various details needs to be added? You can give keywords. It is going to ready-made craft email to you. You just have to reread it, draft according to your need. So that saves on your time in thinking freshly and then doing the first draft, then the second, then the third. It's better, does a draft for you. You just have to make a revision and send it across. Notion AI is really helpful for tracking. So, or planning dashboard. For example, summarize our academic change plan in action items for faculty. So, if you have any big report that you have to bring forth, or you have to give only few instructions to stepwise instructions to teachers how to use certain thing, upload the document in Notion AI and ask it to have only four steps or only stepwise instructions. That is going to do it for you. Perplexity is really helpful tool for writing any research. So you as research teacher also can start writing with the help of Perplexity. Definitely, there are strict norms of plagiarism and ethical code of conduct in research that every academician needs to follow. So, for example, what policies do top global universities follow for blended learning implementation? You just put this question in Perplexity. Perplexity is going to study various policies across the globe of top universities and bring you the best in front of you. Um, these are another tools like Canva. Canva is amazing tool for making quick presentation. Prezi is another tool. You just have to give basic elements and it is going to create amazing presentations for you. So that is also going to save on your time. You can create lesson plans. You can do meeting presentations. You can do presentations which needs to be sent through email to guide the steps for using certain tool, let's say. So that is going to save on your time. Micro AI is very good for collaborative planning. So multiple teachers, multiple leaders can work together for mind mapping. At the same time, like micro AI, you all can work on Google Doc together, distribute the task, write in the comment box. So let's say I'm busy right now at 11 o'clock in lecture, but I will be free at 12 o'clock. My other teacher may have will be busy in 12 o'clock, but is free at 11. She will work, put a comment for further writing for me. I'll read those and I'll work. Once she's free, She's going to review. If she needs any certain changes, either she will do it or write in the comment, and I'll follow up. In this way, multiple tasks can be done by saving on our time and distributing our load. Otter AI, thereafter Fireflies are really good for recorded meetings, and auto translator. um, Zoom is also now AI enabled Zoom meeting. If you take, that is going to do the transcription of whatever each and every individual is speaking in the meeting. At the same time, it also creates a report. It also creates a MOM for you, minutes of meetings. So that is going to save on your time. And ready-made minutes will be ready, which are foolproof. Even if you miss something, any other element, everything will be there available. So Teachermatic or Magic School AI can also be really useful for school support and outcome mapping. So this is it from my side. Leadership in academia is not a title, it is a daily decision. Change is inevitable. The question is whether we guide it or get dragged by it. Choice is ours. Every teacher here is already a leader. Now it's time to lead consciously. So these are the final takeaways of today's talk. Thank you so much, all of you, for your patient listening. And over to you. If you have any questions, queries, please ask me, or you can even write in the chat box. Thank you so much.